What's going on, Ghosties? Welcome back to Tales to Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica,
And I'm Chelsea.
and it's time for our much needed coffee break. Chelsea,
Yes.
are you ready?
No.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, so Ghosties, Chelsea, there is so much that has happened and so much that's been going on in the past couple of weeks, from alien mummies getting CT scans and MRIs in Mexico to a missing F-35 jet that flew for 60 miles after the pilot ejected and finally crashing in South Carolina. So, am I
Wait,
going to
wait,
talk
go
about
back to
those
the
things?
mummies. Go back to the mummies.
Yeah,
My,
bro. So these mummies, so Mexico had these mummies. They're like they're really small, and they had them like in casket type things.
uh
And it was the government doing it, and they swear that they're real, and they did like CT scans and MRI scans. Is it real? I don't know. There's TikTok saying like, oh, the aliens were just cake, and then they see like you see a video of them slicing the alien and it is cake, but who knows if it's the alien from the same ones that the government had. Maybe they just made a replica cake out of it. I don't know. But that's one of the events that went down in the last couple of weeks. Just to give you a little a little taste of some of my catch up topics here. Just wanted to get
okay.
you warmed up, okay?
Okay.
Are you still processing the alien mummies getting CT
Yes.
scans and MRIs? Yeah. It's okay. No, it's okay. Sit on it. Sit on that thought. You're fine. Take your time. But you know what? Let's put a pause on that. Let's put a pause on that and move forward to, did you hear about Las Vegas getting hacked?
No.
So, Las Vegas got hacked in the past couple of weeks. Of course, it's not the first time it's happened, but this time it was pretty bad. They hacked most of the MGM casinos. Caesar's Palace, I believe, was the one that paid off the hackers to leave them alone. Of course, they left them alone for a minute, came right back because the casinos are paying them to fuck off pretty
hmm
much. So because they know they're going to get paid off, they keep coming back. Now there's rumors going around that there's hackers trying to hack the dome that they have out there, that big old ball, cool
Yeah.
looking thing. They say that because of the way it was built and all the technical stuff, it's going to be very difficult to hack it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's one of the events that happened in the past couple of weeks as well.
I feel like
Next up,
saying that is like asking for somebody to try.
yeah, kind of putting like the idea out there.
Yeah, like, oh, they said like it's gonna be really hard. Let's see how hard it actually is. And you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
they're like, let's fuck around and find out.
yeah, exactly.
Next thing that I'd like to bring up to you guys, I came across, I don't ever remember if it's a fucking reel from Instagram or a TikTok, but there's a theory that Mary Poppins and Pennywise are the same, come from the same type of uh uh
Universe?
uh creature. Like they're the same. I don't know. I had it earlier. Mary Poppins and Pennywise are from the same species. There you go.
Okay.
Because both Mary Poppins and Pennywise return in a 24 to 26, 27 period. They both come back and obviously visit children, but they each have different type of ways to go about it. So Pennywise feeds off of their fear, to where Mary Poppins feeds off of their happiness.
hmm
They're always revisiting the same kids too, even the adults, once they're adults. So I thought that was a pretty interesting theory, just because you would never think Mary Poppins, Pennywise in the same sentence. So I
Right.
thought I'd put that in your brains just so you guys can,
I
use your
feel
minds
like
on it.
I feel like I've heard that before,
I
but
wouldn't be
also I'm not.
surprised if you've talked about it before, because when I heard about it and I started typing it in our notes, I was like, I feel like we've touched this topic before, but I don't remember. I'll bring it up again for those who are just joining our podcast.
Yeah.
But it was quite interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting theory. I wonder if Stephen King would ever consider like putting that in the that
Mary
like
Poppins is
books
Pennywise's sister.
or something like that. Yeah. Because like I feel
Um,
feel like Mary Poppins would not adapt to that theory, but Stephen King would be morbid enough to do it.
Oh yeah, and that'd be very interesting to watch, just because we grew up with these two characters our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
Next up on the list, did you hear about the situation with Kaiser hospitals out here in California?
No.
So there are 16 in total Kaiser hospitals in California that had unsecure dumpster insane finds. So guess what they found in these unsecured dumpsters? Unsecure
What?
meaning like dumpsters you
Like you
see walking towards the
on the sidewalk?
hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
They found body parts, they found
What?
blood, they found HIPAA. I should have started off with the HIPAA, but they found HIPAA papers.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
now I'm stuck on the body parts.
yeah, they found body parts, they found blood, they found things that you would imagine they need to put in like hazardous waste was just in this regular old unsecured dumpster. And it happened at 16 Kaiser hospitals. At first I thought it was just one. No, 16.
Oh my gosh. Somebody's gonna get fired. Multiple somebodies.
Well, Kaiser's trying to pay it off pretty much. So I thought that was interesting. Do you want to hear about the Whaley House or my movie review first?
The Whaley House, of course.
Okay, so Ghosties. I went to the Whaley House again. It was so much fun. We did an 8 p.m. tour, which was great. If you listened to the episode where I talked about my first experience at the Whaley House, you would know that I went with my mom and my brother, and our tour guide was Bullet. I loved Bullet so much. He was so charismatic and into the role of just making sure we get spooked and giving us all the details of the house and the family.
Did you get him
Um,
again?
so can you wait?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, we did get him again, and I want to say it's because of me. So I went with Z, and so we were walking around during the daytime before, way before our tour starts, and I see him on the front steps. So I had some tequila in me, which makes me very social, and I was like, I was like, Bullet, is that you? And he goes, yes, it is. And I go up to him and oh my God, dude, I think about this. I've been thinking about this ever since it happened. Instead of giving him
You
a
sound like
handshake,
you're you sound like you're fangirling, but also not.
he's just
It's
so
so
great.
it's so weird how you're talking about him right now.
Don't tell Pedro. So instead of giving him a handshake, I fucking gave him a fist bump. And I was like, hey, are you going to be doing the night tours? And he was like, yeah, I am actually. And I was like, oh, that's great. You were my tour guide last year when I came for the first time, and you were so great. And we were wondering if there's any way we can request to have you. And he pretty much said like he doesn't know how it's gonna work out. He may not. And I was like, well, if I need to demand it, just let me know where to go. So come to our tour. He was our tour guide, which was very exciting. He kept giving me a look like, buddy. Um,
Are
so
you
the
sure it
tour,
wasn't like, oh, it's the creepy girl?
no, because I didn't talk to him a lot. I didn't interact with him a lot. Because like creepy, I know how to not be creepy, you know? Because I know how what like creepy is and how people could be creepy, so I stay away from doing those things. Like consistently asking for attention or asking questions or just, so I stayed quiet. I enjoyed the show. There was an obnoxious girl in our group, so she took the attention away, which was like, great, go for it.
Oh,
Um,
obnoxious. I thought you said obnoxious.
I'm sick a little, so I couldn't pronounce it. Like the sound wouldn't come out, right? Anyways, moving on. So the first time I went to the Whaley house, I sensed nothing. Nothing. No sadness, no anger, no happiness even. It was just like, okay, I'm enjoying the tour. I'm happy. I'm excited. And I thought it was because I was so excited that it overlooked
Powered your,
any,
yeah.
um this time around, after we were done in the courtroom, they move us to the room next door. While we were standing in there, I kid you not, I wouldn't lie about this. I was standing there, he's talking to us, telling us about some history, stuff like that. And I feel dizzy to the point where I actually start like having like a conversation with myself and I'm just like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be that dumbass that passes out. I'm passing out. I'm gonna pass out. And so I went up to Z and I grabbed onto her arm and I was like, I think I'm gonna pass out. I got so lightheaded. It was the craziest thing. And then we got out of that room and I was fine for the remainder of the tour. But I just wanted to share that experience. I love the Whaley House. The history is rich. If you don't know much about the Whaley House, I did do a segment on it. Go back to season one, check it out. I believe it was season one. Go back and check it out. Last thing on my catch up list, I know I have a lot to talk about, guys, but it's been a while since we've talked. I watched the new Scream movie last night, and
Wait. Scream?
yeah, is that not what it's called?
You haven't finished the other movies.
That's not the point. The point is how the
Is the point. You're supposed to watch them in order.
excuse me. I'm trying to give you my review here.
If your
How the
review
fuck
isn't
are
good.
these characters? Oh, also spoiler alert. How the fuck are these characters gonna get stabbed multiple times and then walk around like nothing happened?
That's the whole, like, the franchise itself, but when it was just the original trilogy, was always that, like, no matter what happened, like, the impossible was possible. That's why they always say if you don't see a bullet go through a killer's head, they're not dead. That's why people can get stabbed multiple times and still walk like there's nothing. Are you talking about Chad specifically?
Chad and also
Because
the
he
girl
got
that got
fucked
stabbed
up.
in the train.
She was only stabbed once. You can survive a stab wound. Like,
No, I
that's
think she was
believable.
stabbed twice. No, I think I saw him stab her twice.
Okay, 2 times is still not that bad. But like,
Okay, let me
Chad,
fucking stab you
like,
2 times.
got fucked up.
You can walk. Dude, Chad
Chad
got
got
fucking
fucked up
stabbed
though.
like 40 times and he's like on the gurney like four. Just like, bitch, what?
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's
I'm
why
done.
that's why I feel like Stu is still alive because everyone's like, you can't survive the TV falling on your head. Okay, first of all, he was still moving after the TV fell on his head. And second of all, yes, you can.
Do you have anyone to talk to, like, professionally?
No.
Cause,
I'm a broke bitch and I don't have insurance, so no.
cause yikes, dude, yikes. But anyways, that's all
Listen,
my
you
catch
are
up. Hope
my
you guys had
therapy,
fun.
okay?
I owe you therapy.
No, you are my therapy.
Oh, ooh, yeah. Well, you're not gonna get that far. uh,
Anyways, moving on from that, why don't you just start on the true crime topic of the week since you
I
are
would
talking?
absolutely love to. My true crime topic of the week, Ghosties, is about the Mistress Killer Clown.
I hate
Brr,
you.
brr, brr. Chelsea's favorite. um, so yes, today I'm going to be talking about the true crime case of the murder of Marlene Warren, who was age 40 when she died. In May 1990, Marlene watched as a clown wearing an orange wig, a painted on happy face, and flowers approach her front doorstep. Marlene's last words would be, "Oh, how sweet," before she was shot by the clown. Marlene's 21-year-old son ran to her side as she collapsed in the doorway and even made eye contact with the clown. Now, let's pause there. Chelsea, what would you do if you were at your front doorstep and you see a clown walking up to you with flowers and balloons?
I'd make sure that my front door was locked and run
Why would you run if you're in your house?
because he's still there. Like, I would not stay there.
You've been watching too many Scream movies. We need to put you in one of those classes, like how to survive fucking
Okay, but you
killers.
just said that this clown walked up to the door and shot her. So you
Dude,
want me to say I'm gonna stand by my front door where I can get shot? Fuck you. I
oh my
am
god,
normal
no.
in this situation. My fight or flight reflexes are to fight. I'm good.
Oh my god, dude, put the weed down.
It's
Oh my
been down.
god. Okay, we'll pick it back up.
No.
Okay, moving on. Oh my gosh. So the clown would then flee the scene in a Chrysler with no license plate, of course. Marlene would unfortunately later die 2 days later at Palms West Hospital. Come to find out, the killer clown was none other than Marlene's husband's mistress, later to become his wife, Sheila Keene Warren. There had been issues between Marlene and her husband to the point where Marlene would tell her loved ones that if anything were to ever happen to her, it was her husband. But
It's always the
by the
husband.
way, in
Well, I
case
shouldn't say
anyone
husband,
was,
it's always the spouse.
it's always the spouse. It's always the
Yeah.
spouse. Um, but by the way, in case anyone was wondering, Sheila met Michael at work. Michael was her boss, and she was married to someone else while she had this affair with Michael. I believe she's currently still on trial over this murder. I will keep you posted if I find any new information on it. I just saw Killer Clown and thought it'd be great to talk about this with Chelsea here,
Listen,
listening.
just clowns, no.
They're just
That's it.
annoying. I just find clowns annoying. They're not scary, they're annoying.
Until
Um,
they kill you.
well, I hope you don't see any clowns approaching you anytime soon during the day, during the night, at your home, or anywhere else.
I would fucking run.
Well, make sure to pat them down. Make sure they don't have no butcher knife or
Pat him
gun.
down. I'm gonna be nowhere near them.
All
Fucking
right, all
pat him
right.
down,
Jesus
she
Christ. Oh my
says.
God. Ghosties, ghosties. I am so sorry for Chelsea's behavior today.
I am aggressive. I do not like clowns. They can just fuck off.
And let's go ahead and move on to the paranormal topic, Chelsea. Why don't we talk about the paranormal topic of the week?
So, the paranormal topic this week, we are going to be taking a trip to Charleston, South Carolina, to talk about the Dock Street Theater.
Okay.
So, the construction of the original Dock Street Theater was believed to have started in the year 1735, and it opened in February of 1736. When the theater was first conducted, it had great success. Everybody in the South loved it. Unfortunately, it burned down in the Charleston fire of 1740, so like 4 years later. They did rebuild it eventually, and it became the Planters Hotel. Even though it was a hotel at the time, they still kept the like theater room available, and they had a lot of theater groups because of it. And surprisingly enough, there was a actor who stayed there by the name of Junius Brutus Booth. Now, if anybody kind of was like, that sounds familiar, Booth was the father of John Wilkes Booth, who, as if that doesn't sound familiar, then I don't know.
Killed somebody, right? Shot
Yeah,
somebody?
he killed the president, Abraham Lincoln. So,
Mhm.
fun historical fact.
So happy I knew that.
Now, the story of Junius Booth is that after one performance, for unknown reasons, they don't know if he was drunk or like something happened, but he became really angry and attacked the hotel's manager, almost killing him.
Mm.
But they said that they like kept him there, so he was still one of the more popular actors at that theater. So after this, during the Civil War, because everything was affected during that war, Charleston was no exception, and the hotel fell into ruin because of the economy.
Hmm.
And then not long after, in 1886, there was an earthquake in Charleston, which just further damaged the building. It sat forgotten about for about 50 years before the mid 1930s, when the Works Progress Administration, which is an agency established during the Great Depression to create work for unemployed workers, they announced their intentions to repurpose the building to renovate it for office use. During the reconstruction for this, they ended up completely changing their plans and ended up rebuilding the original Dock Theater. It remained open until about 2007, when
Hmm.
they were forced to close temporarily because it needed renovations. It was 70 plus years since the Works Progress Administration had done their reconstruction.
Hmm.
So it took 3 years, so in about 2010, and $19 million, the Dock Theater reopened on March 18th, 2010, and it is a historic theater now and continues to serve as a antebellum era theater. So, one of the ghosts that haunt the theater is kind of like the smaller known ghost. It is that of Junius Booth. Nobody is sure why his ghost haunts the theater, but he's the easiest to believe that he's haunting the theater. Some argue that he doesn't have like a stronghold on it because the only significance that he had to the theater was that he tried to kill the hotel manager, but people have claimed to see a male apparatus who resembles Junius Booth. So that's why they believe that it's him. Others believe that it's possibly just another actor that nobody knew that didn't want to leave the spotlight. And then we have the ghost of Nettie. She's the most frequently spotted, and some claim that her name was Nettie Dickerson, and others believe that she had no name or a different name, and that the locals just named her Nettie. But either way, she's known as Nettie the Ghost, and she lived in Charleston during the 1800s, during the height of the Planters Hotel. She was a prostitute who lived within the hotel.
It's a smart place to live if you're a prostitute.
Right, exactly. Shut up. It was a great place for prostitutes, mainly because there was a lot of wealthy men that congregated around the hotel, as it was like one of the best hotels at the time.
Mm.
And the reason she became a prostitute is because at the time, in the 1800s, many women who were not married by 17 were considered to be old. And
Aye.
Nettie was 25 when she moved to Charleston. So while the wealthy men were looking for brides who were still in their teens, many were not opposed to sleeping with somebody who they consider to be a spinster, which is an old lady.
What? What's it called?
A spinster?
Writing that down so I could call all my over 30 thoughts. Spinster.
So, like I said, like she was considered old to be for a non-married woman, but she was said to be extremely beautiful, which caused the men in her life to be more interested in lust and not, marriage or love.
I bet you're more beautiful than her.
I don't know if I should take it as a compliment or
What do you mean?
or you telling me that I'm about to become a prostitute.
Well, you know what? You read into it however you want to read into it.
So before she became a prostitute, she did work in a church in Charleston, okay? And when she quit to become a prostitute, she had bought one of the most expensive dresses that they had in the town, which was a beautiful red dress that was just like extravagant. With this dress that and her looks, that was what aided her in becoming one of the best in her profession. And because she stopped going to church on Sundays and society was viewing her negatively, many of the women whose husbands she was sleeping with began to start creating rumors and would talk badly about her. And because of this and her lack of discretion with sleeping with, their husbands, it not only cost her customers in the long run, but it also caused her to go broke because of that loss. So she went out on her second floor balcony of the hotel and stood outside while a storm was coming. She started to shout at all of the high society women that were creating negativity on her as the storm continued to brew. And the priest who had cared for her, that was at the church that she worked at, had heard her screaming and went to help her.
Mm-hmm.
And she yelled down, "Can't save me." And a bolt of lightning hit right after saying that and struck her, and she died.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she got struck by lightning after, like, that. Those were her last words, "You can't save me." And I just think that that's, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah. What a way to go.
I know. And she was, of course, wearing her beautiful red dress. So they say that if you see her ghost, she is wearing the red dress.
Ooh. Ooh, I
Yes.
like that.
Yes. It's very, a lot of, when I was like reading into it, a lot of people were saying that if you see her, she's actually not beautiful, and that because she was struck by lightning, she actually looks like a zombie in death.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if I go visit this place and I see her, like, what am I gonna see? A beautiful woman or a fucking zombie?
here's the thing. I don't mind seeing shit. I don't mind seeing ghosts. What I would mind if is if that ghost starts approaching me. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's not okay. That's where I draw the line. That's
That's
where
when you're
I
like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
yeah, yeah. See, look, I do draw the line somewhere. Because if
I'm
I
proud of
hear
you.
footsteps, whether it's walking or running, period, especially coming towards me, oh, dog, I'm out. I'm
Right.
out.
hmm
Like, why the fuck are you coming at me like that? About to throw
I'm
a
so
punch.
glad. It took us almost the end of season 2 to find out where you draw the line with ghosts.
We should celebrate.
Yeah, that's a
We should
celebration.
celebrate.
Yep, we'll smoke after this.
Well, I have plenty to smoke, and I told you this, so thanks for bringing it up again.
Okay, well, you can drink and I can smoke.
No, but you know what? How about this? How about Ghosties? Are you you hear me? You hear me?
We
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
you.
Okay. How about October 13th, which happens to be Friday the 13th?
Uh-huh.
We release our final episode and we
Uh-huh.
celebrate. We could smoke and drink and and talk about spooky stuff and 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 I thought it was going to come out much more exciting than this, but it's not. But we should address that. We should address that. I know you guys thought that our last episode was going to be in September, but there has been some change of plans. Not that you're not going to hear from us on our off season. You're definitely going to hear from us. You're going to get tired of us, I hope. Um, I hope not. I hope. Well,
I
anyways,
hope, but I hope not. We understand.
yeah.
We
Thank
understand.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so we will be releasing a special episode and our final episode of season 2, October 13th. We're really excited. Should we say what we're gonna do or wait?
I want it to be a surprise. I think we've
Yeah,
given it
okay.
enough that our season finale of season 2 is going to be on Friday the 13th. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. So we'll keep it a surprise for you guys. It's gonna be fun. I might get emotional just because I'm so attached to this podcast. Not that we're not coming back for season 3, but or are we? Dun dun dun.
We are. Don't lie to them. We are.
Or are we? Dun dun dun. Anyways, moving on.
Anyways, let's get to the tarot card reading.
Yes, please.
So, by the time this episode comes out, tomorrow will be October 1st, which means it is the start of the new month.
Yes, how exciting. And if I may, in case
Uh-huh.
my friend Bird is listening, her birthday's on October 1st. So, Bird, happy birthday. Get this, she's going to be 30. Whoa, that's
What? The
old.
big 3-0?
30. And if there's any listeners out there and you're 30 or over, I'm just kidding. I'm just bullying her. But yeah, happy birthday, Bird. Um, I wish you many, many more. But yes, moving on. Sorry. I just had to do a little birthday shout out.
I don't blame you. You are fine. So, the tarot card reading for this month is the month ahead for the month of October. And card 1 represents the overall theme of the month. Card 2 is the energy that we have currently. Card 3 is what we should embrace. Card 4 is what we need to let go of. Card 5 are the obstacles that we're going to face this month. And card 6 is the advice and support. So, card 1 is the overall theme of the month, and this comes through the Emperor. There is security coming to us because we are on top of things and everything is finally getting under control. All of our hard work and discipline are finally paying off, and we are now in charge of setting our own rules and boundaries. I don't know about
Yes.
you, but this is
Hmm.
exciting.
The Emperor is also known as the father figure in the tarot card. So there may be a chance that you're adopting this fatherly role, regardless whether you are male or female, providing for your family or protecting and defending your loved ones. When I first read this, I related to it.
Hmm.
I do have someone very close to me who their father is not in their life, but this is gonna sound weird, but I told her she could call me daddy because I love her, and unfortunately, that her father is my brother, and I
Hmm.
love my niece very much. So just know that you are being recognized as such. You are also someone who demands for respect and authority. Status, power, and recognition are essential to you, and you are most comfortable in a leadership role where you can command and direct others. Pretty much, I feel like the theme of the month is you taking control of your life
Hmm.
and being that quote unquote father figure for someone and or yourself. So it's compared to last month, we're doing good so far. We're
Right, exactly.
okay.
That's why it's
Easing
so
into it.
exciting. We're finally starting to get our shit together.
Yep.
Ghosties, let us know if that's how you feel or if this is like completely opposite from you. I'm always interested to know like how it works out for other like for listeners
Mhm.
because I feel like create like because like everybody everything in the universe is connected one way or another. And I
Mhm.
feel like everybody is either on one side of the spectrum or the other, like you know what I mean, to have that balance. And so it's kind of like that yin yang effect. So like I'm always interested to know if this is like completely opposite for some listeners or
Mhm.
if it's like, completely spot on because it's always going to be like one way or the other, you know?
Yeah, and it's very much possible that this may not relate to some of you, and it may relate
Hmm.
more to others than some. But I see a relation to this. I see a relation between the Emperor and Chelsea. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Chelsea, I will be more than happy to tell you after we're done recording, just because it is personal. But
Well, and I kind of know like where you're going with it. I kind of was at that like thought of mine too when I was reading it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, ghosties, let us know because we're very fascinated with this, and we'd love to hear whether it relates to you or not. Your 2 cents on the readings.
Hmm. So, card two is the energy that we currently have, and this comes through the Five of Wands reversed. Now, even though the Emperor is telling us that the overall theme is like everybody getting their shit together, our energy right now, and mind you, it's still September, ghosties, is that of confliction. So we're
Mm,
either conflicted about an issue or unclear on where we stand on maybe it's a certain topic or in life in general, however that it interprets to you. But we're going to start coming to terms with these issues and really compromising with others or making an agreement with yourself, like with boundaries on whether or not you can stand something anymore. So it's really all like starting to come together, even though at the present moment, our energy going into October is still going to have that confliction.
You may be stuck in between, you may be in the middle of a crossroads, right? You have different directions that you could take. You're unsure of which direction to take. In the back of your mind, you might know which one you should take, but
Sometimes
you
making that
know, the
choice is hard.
it is. And the Five of Wands reverse can suggest that you have the tendency to avoid conflict wherever feasible. So you're avoiding a certain path because you fear conflicts coming about. But the thing about life is that you're gonna run into conflicts whether you want to or not. It's just
Hmm.
about having the balls to actually take that first step forward. And, like the Emperor says, once you make that rough decision with, here with the Five of Wands reversed, you're gonna be in a position of power. Whether that power is at work, in your household, or just with yourself. So I hate this card because it's very, like, it's calling me out specifically, I feel, but that's how I'm seeing it as well.
So, card three represents what we should embrace this month. And what we really need to embrace is the hardship that we are facing right now. So, this can
Hmm.
come from a loss or a separation or sorrow, even heartbreak, and really addressing or facing or reconciling with someone who hurt you in the past is really going to help you move forward so you can release everything that is holding you back. Because not embracing whatever it is that you're feeling, whether it is loss or grief or pain or anything, not
Mhm.
accepting those feelings is just going to make it worse for you, and you won't be able to let go and move forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to hold you back. And you may also be hypersensitive to others' words and need to develop a thick skin, let go of the hurt that these words are causing you. It will only hold you back. And
Hmm.
do some self reflection. So, what has triggered these feelings and why? How might you address the underlying issue? Three of Swords reverse also encourages you to pay attention to your inner thoughts and self talk. Not that you shouldn't go to others to talk things out or, ask for advice, but you yourself should take a moment and see how you feel, how you came to be in this position, and kind of reassess what's going on, what's being said, the actions that are happening that are placing you in this difficult situation. So you definitely need to
Hmm.
embrace yourself as far as what you think. Make sure you're listening to yourself, listen to your gut. But like I said, don't take this the wrong way and take it as, oh, I shouldn't go to someone. I need to figure this out on my own. No, it's
Hmm.
perfectly fine to go for someone for advice, preferably a professional. I know some people are really against that or see it as like something embarrassing, but you'd be surprised. You'd really be surprised. Take a time and have a little conversation with yourself. Maybe not in public, 'cause, people can think you're crazy. Unless you want to slap some headphones on, people will never know.
Right, right. I mean, at least have some kind of headphone on. You don't want to look like a weirdo talking to themselves. Unless
Mm.
that's where you're trying to end up. Maybe they're trying to end up in a mental institution. We should not assume.
Um,
Moving on. Card 4, what we need to let go of this month. And this comes through the Lovers reversed. So again, focusing on that imbalance or disharmony that's in our life right now, we really need to let go of all of that. We need to be open to either getting past our hurt or reopening our hearts if that's what you're fearing. But in order to let go, we need to become aware of what we value, what we need, and we really need to make ourselves a priority.
you may find yourself in relationships, friendships, whether it's with a significant other, family members, or friends.
Even
You may find
coworkers.
even coworkers, yes. You may find your relationship are strains and communication is challenging. You guys are not on the same page. The advice that the Lovers Reverse gives you is to try to remember why this person was in your life in the first place and why they play an important role in your life. If
Hmm.
unfortunately you come to the conclusion that they don't deserve to be in your life, make that choice. It's a hard choice to make, but sometimes,
It needs to
and
be made.
it needs to be made. It's for the better. I know it sounds super cliche, but when you make those hard decisions to let someone go, you wonder why you held on for so long.
Hmm.
So, either let go of said person or remember why they were in your life to begin with and know that not all bad things last forever and you can move on from them.
Hmm. Yeah. Card 5 is the obstacles that we are going to face this month, and this comes through the Knight of Wands. I think this card is perfect for what this card represents because the Knight of Wands represents a lot of things. And, we're talking about all of the things that we need to overcome this month. And it's not going to be just hardship that we have to overcome or that's going to be
Mhm.
causing obstacles for us. It's also going to affect our choices that we make because the Knight of Wands really represents being adventurous, taking risks, going on
Mhm.
adventures. I mean, I think I said that, but it's really all about making decisions in order to do all that. So you have to make decisions to be adventurous or take a risk in something. And this could be for anything. So it's multiple things happening. Maybe it's in our work, in our relationship, in our family, in our friends. It's anything really. But the most important thing that the Knight of Wands really represents is finishing what you start. Because when you finish something that you start, success is going to happen even if it's just like you successfully finished that task. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Many of the obstacles that we're going to be facing this month are just making those decisions and to keep pushing forward with whatever it is that we started to do.
Mhm. And going back to the whole crossroads, being in a position where you have these options and you don't know which one to take, which road to take, but you
Hmm.
kind of know deep down which one to take. You're just scared. The Knight of Wands shows the actual pursuit of that idea. Okay, so that is going to be the obstacle this month. I think there's many of us that are just fearing that first step, but once you make that first step, the second step won't be as hard, and the third step will be less as hard.
Yeah, isn't
You
there a
know,
saying like taking that first step is the hardest and everything comes easy after that or something?
correct, correct, perfect,
So,
perfectly said. So Chelsea's definitely right. Just remember that you are bold and courageous and willing to venture into unknown territories to further your mission and your dreams. So hopefully this gives you some kind of encouragement to pursue whichever idea or project you have going on. Just fucking go for it.
before we move on to the next card, I just want to tell you that you just made me extremely happy
Why?
because I have it on recording. Chelsea is right. I'm so happy right now.
Dude, what the fuck? You tricked me.
I didn't
You
trick you.
fucking
I
tricked me.
didn't trick you. I didn't even know. Like,
You know,
I
who are
wasn't
you
planning that.
today?
I am a
You are
great,
not
happy
the
person.
Chelsea that I've known.
That's because I'm the Chelsea who had some really good smoking stuff.
And you're mean.
I mean, oh,
Yeah.
am I the bully this episode?
Ooh. How the tables have turned.
So moving on to card six, our final card. This is the advice and support, and it comes through the Knight of Cups. So I'm kind of conflicted about this card. So this card represents that we are either like romantic or imaginative, kind of like artistic, that we are the type of person who really follows our hearts, that we're in love with love itself, that kind of thing, and that romantic proposals and attraction are going to be happening and might like sweep us off our feet. But I really feel like even though that's what this card represents, I'm getting the vibes that that's not going to be a good thing going into the decisions and the obstacles that we need to make and overcome this month. I feel like that's going to be our weakness this month. I don't know. I'm just getting that vibe. And
Interesting.
yeah, so I feel like the advice is like that is what we feel inside and that we really need to not just think with our hearts, we need to remember to think with our heads, with the facts, kind of have that balance of how we go about making decisions. So I feel like that's what our advice is telling us this month.
It's weird because it's telling you something completely different than what it's telling me. Like
Really?
I think maybe there's supposed to be not two meanings but two versions of how this tarot card comes off as. So
Uh-huh.
Chelsea may be one way to look at it, and my way to look at it is yes, the Knight of Cups is the classic romantic of the tarot deck. But what I'm understanding is that his intuition and emotions he is in touch with. So he is in touch with his intuition, he is in touch with his emotions, he is charming and knows how to attract others. He shows compassion and understanding towards others because he's learned to understand his own feelings and emotion, going back to that self talk and listening to your inner thoughts. I think it's going to be very important to connect with yourself, to come to terms with how you're feeling, how you're thinking. And once you've come to terms with that, I feel like it'll be easier to attract others, whether in a romantic way, a friendship way, a professional way. Like I said, it's very general, okay? I feel like if this was a specific reading for a specific person, we might be able to kind of narrow it down what, this card is specifically talking about, but I don't think it's specifically talking about romance. I think this card is simply advising you guys to be in touch with yourself, be in touch with your
Yeah.
feelings, your emotions, and, if you're not already, practice being compassionate towards others because once you have those things locked down, you're going to be much more easier to honestly understand. And that'll make it easier for people to, come into your life. You won't be an enigma, something that, you just can't fucking put your finger on. Like, you just can't explain what kind of person you are. Make sure that you guys try to come to term with yourself before trying to open yourself to others, is what I'm trying to say. So you may relate to Chelsea's advice, you may relate to my advice.
Well, and I think they go hand in hand too, because I didn't necessarily mean like mine for to be like a romantic way, but like don't make decisions like based on how your heart feels or like how you feel. Really look into like the logical side too, like what's best for you, but what's like what makes sense for your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. It all kind of connects, this whole reading. Like all the cards really connect
Hmm.
and it definitely makes sense. So we're stuck. We need to make hard decisions. Once we take that first step, things slowly start to fall into place. We need
Hmm.
we need we need to come to terms with ourselves, because once we do
Hmm.
that, we'll allow the right people to come into our life, the right situation, the right job. Like I said, very general, okay? So take it how you will, but I'm seeing a connection with all these cards and I hear you. But anyways, that being said, we have reached the end of our episode, sadly.
I
Um,
know.
Chelsea, any final words?
Um, no, I think I'm good. This has
Okay,
been
well,
a ride for me.
no apologies or anything
For what?
for your behavior.
No, I am
Okay,
who
well,
I am.
Ghosties, on behalf of Chelsea, I'm sorry she yelled in your ears. She's very unstable today. I don't know what's gotten into her. Well, I do,
You know
but
exactly what's gotten into me.
whoa. All right. Well, that being said, thank you, Ghosties, for joining us this week. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, make sure you give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want a tarot card reading, please feel free to DM us. We'd love to do a reading for you. Again, we are your hosts. I'm Veronica,
And I'm Chelsea.
and we hope you have a spooky weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.